So when you were blaming the balance of the game, right, for your lack of performance with Jamie, how come you weren't saying these things to you? How come you're just saying it to other cats? How come you're not saying it to yourself, brother? How come you're not blaming Zap's fireball game in DP is so insane. He's gonna be able to utilize his strengths, not just jumping around and doing some dive kicks and some nonsense. So I'm more excited for him that one. I'm more excited for him that one. Wait, where are you going?
What up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. What was your favorite day of the week? It is one half of the Champerino experience, Zaferino, Zaf Blanigan, here with my compadre, Mr. Filipino Champ, Nintendo bot himself. We are here this fine Tuesday evening. We are going to be discussing some great topics. There's a lot of juicy stuff that happened this weekend, as you can tell. We have our topics of the day, EWC China, which we're also going to combine with talking about Brussels Challenge, which happened this weekend. Some more Season 3 changes that have been revealed through some Twitter videos. Elena gameplay, which came out tonight. Combo Breaker, we're going into that this weekend. And Book of the Week, Q&A, all that good jazz, okay? So, everybody, hope you guys are wiggling your toes. Sit back, relax, kick back, and let us begin the show. The greatest podcast in the world. Right, champ?
Yes, sir.
I need to hear some bass in your voice. Can you give me some bass so I know you believe what you're saying?
Mike.
Thank you. All right.
Mike.
Thanks.
Hey.
So nasally. All right. So let's talk about it, champ. Shanghai. We got some. Let me pull up the results real quick. I know the old man, Mr. Reject Tokido.
I remember it.
Dominated.
I watched it fucking 4 times.
Oh damn! Really? Okay. So let's talk about it, champ. What'd you think? What'd you take away from that event?
Well, first of all, the top. I mean, let's look at this. Let's start first before the top 8.
Okay.
Mena and Punk were both in attendance.
Mm-hmm.
And surprisingly, both of them did not make it to the top 8, right?
Neither of them.
Tournament. You know how rare that is? You know how fucking rare that is? That's the last time that happened was the EWC last year. Okay, so that doesn't happen. Okay, but it was all close games, so that happens to anybody, right? But like Punk losing to Yamaguchi picking Mai, and then he lost to Zangief Jr. was on fire. The Zangief player.
Oh damn! That's back-to-back geese for him because he lost to Itazan at Evil Japan. Yeah,
and mind you, I called them the Splash Brothers even before. I called Danny. I said the Splash Brothers, bro. It's not Itazan, okay? The Splash Brothers, it's basically Kobayan and Junior, but those motherfuckers are just cooking. Like those 2 Zangiefs. And I'm so happy to finally see Junior show up to a major and actually cook people. Because he does that in sets, right? But Kobayan was the only one who actually had a good tournament, in Topanga and a good run at EVO Japan, right? But to see like Junior not do that, or just like, that's so weird because they're just both just as good, right? And then to see like Junior cook people like that was super awesome. Obviously I was rooting for Punk and rooting for Mena, but we're always rooting for USA the whole time. But yeah, and then Mena not getting to top 8 and losing to Kaba. You can kind of see like, well, he just won like 5 days ago Evo Japan, so the fire is not there.
He doesn't have the edge.
Yeah. You don't have that the killer instinct, the hunger, because he's literally just fucking back-to-back fucking champ, right? You just did that.
Let me add something to that. Also, he already qualified for EWC
and CPT
right? And it's like Cobb is his best friend. He's
not doing that. He's a professional.
I know, but I'm saying,
not doing that.
It takes the fight. Like you winning, you qualifying. No matter, you're human. You're human. I'm not saying you let him win. I'm saying the fire was not there. If it was, let's say we took Kaba out of it, you put Punk. That fire would have came alive. It would have been.
For instance, like this. Let's say I was qualified to both CPT and EWC, right? And then I'm fighting you. Okay, I'm not saying I'm not gonna try as hard as, because I was still gonna play.
Right.
But I can't press on the gas a little bit harder than I normally could.
Right.
It's not doesn't mean like I wasn't trying or I'm like fucking doing like some like purposely like just sandbagging so you can give you the W. No, it's just like I just couldn't pull the trigger. Just normally like
New
if
Jack
there's somebody
City
that I don't like, right? That's just how it is.
And
I don't even want to think it like that because those guys are training partners. They play each other all the time.
True.
So
That's true.
this is a matter, and this is not the first time that Mena lost to Kaba as well, right?
Agreed,
He lost
yeah,
him in Defend the North, right?
Right.
So if there's one person that he knows his game so much, it's definitely Kaba.
Yeah,
so,
he told me too. He's like, man, I hate the fact Kaba knows exactly how I play.
Yeah, and both
so
each
annoying.
other.
Yeah.
Yeah, they be changing character, and that's okay. You know, that's his main training partner. That's his brother. So it's good, and I was happy for Kaba. But now going to top 8, that we don't have a Punker and Mena in the top 8, which is rare. When I saw it, I was like, wait, Tokido's gonna win the whole thing in general, like because he's like the most favored to win that because experience is gonna kick in the top 8, right? Experience kicks in.
Right.
And then I look at the characters and I saw there was 3 Guiles, right? And we don't have an Akuma. We don't have a Bison, right? Okay. So if you think about it, does that mean Bison and Akuma not good?
Of course not.
Of course not, right? Okay. Does it mean Guiles broken? No, it's just like the way the game is. Any character can actually cook. Okay, we had a Zangief, right? We have 3 Guiles. We have a Ken. We have like whatever you call that. We have a Zangief, and then we have that Mai, right? That's basically it, in the top 8, right? And now you're looking at this one. Now you go to Brussels, not jumping topics.
Right.
That one, you see a Chun-Li in the grand finals fighting Bonchaz Akuma. And then what did we see there? We saw what? Who got top 3? What character? Tell me, bro. Tell me what character got top 3. Tell me which character got top 3.
I don't know. Let me see.
Tell me.
All right, I'm pulling up the results. Bonchan, Akuma, Koichi, Chun-Li, Kane, Terry. Okay.
Yeah. No. It was. What character was that?
Terry. It says Terry on Event Hubs.
It was Jamie, brother.
What the fuck?
Okay. It's Jamie the whole time. I watched it, bro. Okay. Mind you, Kane has always been so amazing with Jamie. Before, I'm telling you this, before he played Kongster in the World Warrior in season 1, and he was still playing Jamie, and he lost to Kongster's JP, and it was obviously a bad matchup in that time, and he stuck to that. Okay. Well, guess what happened, brother? He got it. Okay, top 3 right there. Got some points too. It's great. That's what it tells you. Any character can kind of do it.
But you got
Any
points.
character.
Wait, is it CPT?
I mean, EWC, right? It's EWC. I don't know how EWC works, right?
EWC, I think it's just only you hard qualify, and that's it. No points.
Yeah, right? But you see, if you think about that, right? Any character can kind of do it. Any character. Any fucking character can do it. So, but we didn't see we saw one Akuma, right? The only thing, okay, we haven't seen Rashid cook too lately, right? Does that mean he's bad?
Nope.
Right? Okay. So in this game, the balance is a lot closer, right? We saw a bunch of Ryu placing really well. Is Ryu better than Akuma? Fuck no. Right? We see Terry kind of start cooking as well. We see a lot of mines. We see Zangief's cook, right? Like, so at the end of the day, a lot of characters are viable. Also, Ryusei almost kind of cooked everybody in China with that JP as well. Pretty close too as well. And he lost to the fucking Guiles, unfortunately, because the Guiles were killers.
Damn.
The Guiles were kind of cooking. So, like, if you think about that, the game is sort of like it's not balance, but it's a close balance. You know what I mean? It's closer to becoming a balanced game, basically, because of the mechanics are really strong in this game. It kind of overpowers the archetype at times, for some situations. But yeah.
So, question: would you prefer like character diversity, or do you prefer this more homogenized style of like game design where the characters get carried by the engine so strongly?
Are you talking about like as a player playing or as a viewer?
Well, that's a good question. How about both? Let's start with a viewer. As a viewer.
Okay, as a player, I give no fucks.
That's what. As a viewer,
at the end of the day, at the highest level, is the player that matters, right? It doesn't matter. The character's fucked, whatever. It gives you a slight advantage, but at the end of the day, the character doesn't matter, right? It's the player. Okay, as a viewer, I would like to see less run Tatsus to the corner and then grab. That's what I would like to, I would like to see more interactions where people are making good choices based on, the situation, not just because they get put in like 50 million throw loops, right? Yeah.
I'm impressed at how you separate yourself as a viewer and a competitor instead of it being
that
one
matters
person.
a lot if you think about it, right? The viewer's perspective should matter because at the end of the day, it's esports, quote unquote. So it's the show. It's supposed to bring entertainment. But if it's gonna get stale, then it's not good, right? It's a failed product. So you're supposed to please the player and the viewer in a way, at least. You know, so I would say the best way to say it would probably be just compromise, just a little bit of compromise.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So Guile, 3 Guiles top 8. It's so weird, man. Like we don't really see Guiles like that in top 8, and then you get 3 of them in a stacked event like this, and it's just so funny, man. Like especially considering that 2 of the Guiles did it through so-called bad matchups in JP, right? Because Ryusei lost to 2 JPs. I mean, you lost to 2 Guiles, right?
JP losing to 2 Guiles. By the way, the best Guile versus JP for so long has always been Rain Pro when he was in Asia.
Oh, it was Rain Pro. Okay.
Yes, and that's been the thing. Right? But this is like when people on our side here did not know this. I was in Asia, so I knew about this because this motherfucker was winning tournaments in season 1, cooking the JPs. Okay, so I was like, brother, this guy was doing some other shit. Like, and then he actually got that matchup so good. He was He was like the person who pioneered how to play that matchup so well. He wasn't just winning 2 out of 3 or 3 or first to 3 tournaments. He was doing first to 7 tournaments, brother.
Wow.
With the pros, we were doing that circuits shit in Asia.
Whoa.
That's why. So it was like, bro, this guy had got the juice for that one. So I knew that any JP he plays is gonna struggle against his amount of his expertise. You know, like every player would have this specialty, right? You know, matchup that he like, you know. But then Ryusei was playing super good, you know. And Ryusei lost to fucking Rain Pro as expected. That's why Rain Pro was in winners top 8. Rain Pro was in winners top 8, brother.
Yeah.
Winners top 8, bro. Like that's like Rain Pro was cooking, mind you. And then you got like Kaba, obviously super consistent lately, playing super good. And you got Higuchi, who's always been there, right? Just couldn't kind of get it done, you know. Got the Lashar effect, but like it's always there. The skill is there. So like that one was like, bro, this is gonna be crazy. So every Guile player that was like sort of qualified who got to the end are like the specialist Guiles, right? You know, the Zangief who qualified at the end, who got top 8, fucking the Smash Brother, fucking Junior. Like every player there, except for Moke who switched to Chun-Li to throw some OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Right? You know? Yeah, that's
you
it.
mean
That's
mine when you switched to mine from Chun-Li?
Yeah, OnlyFans. Yeah.
And he beat Hikaru on a really close 3-2 set.
Hikaru, yeah, for sure. Yeah. And Hikaru did really well. Mind you, let me talk about Hikaru real quick. Hikaru, the Aki Pro specialist from Japan that you guys know, this guy can never beat Mena ever. I'm talking like if you watch a Hikaru versus Mena games, usually it's like 92 seconds, shit is done. All the time, okay? So mind you, Hikaru is probably sick and tired losing to Mena, and he beat Mena in this tournament. He's the one that sent Mena to losers. It tells you that in you know, obviously you know this already, that pros versus pros, nobody has a 100% win rate.
For sure.
Doesn't matter. At a certain point, many interactions, it's all gonna come down to like a 10% more win rate, like 60, 40, 65. 65 is actually insane already.
Right.
Yeah, because like all the skills in that one is almost max already, right? For their specialty. So yeah,
I feel like
it's good sometimes to see that.
I feel like Niempi when she played Mena probably gave Hikaru a good blueprint of how to fight him stylistically, because she gave Mena like a really good fucking set.
She
was
that
was close.
I thought she was gonna actually go.
Yeah, that was dangerous.
5-3.
Yeah, it was like something super close.
Yeah, it was awesome. Love it.
And that's like what else? So yeah,
then grand finals.
Yeah, so yeah, Tokido wins winners finals, dominant fashion, bodies Moke's mind 3-0.
It's like winners finals. Tokido, yeah, you're right. It just bodied Moke and did not know Moke basically did not have enough situational awareness in the specific areas where Tokido's like kind of like leveraging the knowledge he has in that matchup. So he basically leveraged it and basically get a quick 3-0, right?
Right.
And then now loser side, Higuchi, mind you, Junior was cooking every guy already.
Yep.
He was hot, hooking beat Kaba, beat Rain Pro, just beat the fuck out of everybody. Okay, this Zangief was he was like, I thought like, hey, man, this Zangief gets to fucking Tokido. He's a rap for Tokido.
Yep.
I was thinking this, and then he beats every guy. Every guy hates fighting Zangief, right? So now, after him cooking every guy out there, now he has to now fight Higuchi. Higuchi now, mind you, Higuchi played really well, was able to beat the Zangief last round, but he had so much data watching his Gal brothers
drown
slain by this guy within the same hour. You know what I'm saying? You know how much advantage that happens, brother.
Legit.
You know what I mean? If you're playing, right, and then now you see this guy might be my next opponent, and you see this guy play the character that you're playing.
In 2 long sets.
So much
in
intel.
2-3 sets.
2 long
sets. Yeah.
And mind you, Junior tends to beat Gucci quite more than, like maybe a 60-40, whatever the hell. But like he always beats the Gal players. And it's so sick to see Higuchi kind of clutch it out in the end, It's nice to see. Yeah. And then you see now the grand finals. I was like thinking, okay, well, history about Tokido versus Higuchi where Higuchi beat Tokido in Street Fighter League a couple times. Right after the Street Fighter League, I checked their profile. They're fucking grinding and playing each other. Right after Higuchi beat Tokido in the tournament, they went home and trained to improve their matchup. Do you understand the attitude in Asia is? We just played in a tournament. You beat me. Can we practice the same day? Do you understand? And then they work it out. That's like the Asian shit. I love that. That's why when I was in Asia, that's all we were just doing. After the loss, you just, good games. Yeah, play again soon. And then you play the next guy again. And then that. There's no ego or pride. It's just constantly improving, getting better. And, they were showing that. And so I was a bit worried for Tokido, but then I knew that the experience was eventually going to kick in. Higuchi kind of got a run. At one point, he had a 4-game win streak. Tokido.
Damn.
He was able to reset and win the next game as well. And Tokido kind of turned it up and then change his approach. And then somehow, not surprising, but he ends up winning the tournament. And yeah. And then his brother, Bonchan, basically won Brussels, if you want to talk about Brussels.
Yeah, so let's talk about Brussels. So we got his bro Chacho, Bone Chacho, goes over there. He loses to Goichi in winners finals. He was up 2-0 on Goichi, and then Goichi stormed back 3 straight. I don't know what happened, but Bonchan just started to hesitate on some of his like fireballs, and then his spacing kind of got not sloppy, but I think Goichi was a little bit more active and moving around, and just he was getting a lot of opportunities off of whiffs and stuff like that. And then he makes it back to him. He has a super close set with Kane's Jamie. Kane being the star of the show that weekend, 100%, like no questions asked.
No questions asked.
For him to do that with Jamie, and he's constantly regarded as like a low tier character. It's pretty dope, But the thing about this game is like if you make good decisions, it doesn't really matter what character you play. You just have to make more correct decisions depending on the character you play.
I'm not sure if that's the way you quantify it. Are you telling me like you have to make more correct decisions as playing Jamie?
Yeah, 100%.
Other higher trade because you do less damage, right?
Yeah, you have more interactions.
Yes, you have more interactions, but not the decisions. Because after the decision in neutral is pretty straightforward with everybody. It's just like it loops right to the next one. So you just have to have more interactions, I guess. But then you're a drinking character, so you have to your damage should not be high because it compounds, right?
Yeah, but this is the thing: is if you make a decision based off of if you go for Oki, go for drink, those have repercussions. They're like trickle. They trickle, right? So you don't know if it's a good decision until like later on, right? That's just the way the character functions because you don't know what opportunities present themselves later on. Based off of the threat of your tools, based off of the decisions your opponent makes. That's why I say you have to make better decisions more often to win with a character like him.
Wait. You shouldn't do that. Like, you don't know what's gonna happen, and you're just gonna find out later. Because that's speaking after the fact. I'm saying like a good decision is a good decision regardless. It's before anything unknown happens, right? So if you're making a good decision, And then there shouldn't be a situation where you don't know what's going to happen, because as a pro, you should know what are the options that can happen.
Yeah, but you don't know the opponent's response to said stimuli until you find yourself in that situation. You understand?
Yes, but you should be prepared for what they will respond to. Unless you go for an Oki and they guess right, and you should be okay to accept that. Right?
Yeah, but logically that makes sense. But you can't remove emotions, right? Because, for example, Jamie having access to command grab is way scarier than Jamie without command grab. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, but then here's the thing. If you gave up that damage that you could have got from a combo or whatever, right? And you opt for command grab for a future situation, what if the future situation you were X amount of damage?
That's wrong, brother. I'm sorry, but we can always disagree disagree, right? Agree to disagree.
I want to hear your perspective. Why is that?
And I respect what you're saying, but like I'm saying, I have a different perspective in this thing.
Okay, tell me.
When you choose to invest by drinking instead, right? You make that choice, correct? Sacrifice the damage now for damage later. Yeah, right. Okay. Now you got the drink. Now you have the option to now grab if you were to get a new situation from your opponent, right? You earn it in neutral, you get the next situation. Now you get that situation. That's not a 100% success rate. It's a 50-50. So if you are wrong in that spot, you should be okay with it, because you should be correct X amount of time. You should be wrong X amount of time. But that's the price of what you basically did. You basically invested instead of taking that easy damage now. Right? So you shouldn't be like, well, I don't know what's going to happen to this. No, but you should know, because you made that choice to invest a drinking instead of going for the guaranteed Oki.
But even so, so I agree with what you're saying, but even so, you still have to have more interactions where you're correct because of the lack of damage. You know what I'm saying?
Fair. That's true. That is fair.
So that means you have to make better decisions more often.
You need to make... No. In neutral, it's the same for every character. Obviously, has a certain way to play, so you cannot basically, you cannot itemize a certain area. But when it comes to a good decision is a good decision. The only thing is your reward. The looping reward doesn't do a lot of damage, because you have the option to invest instead of taking that damage. That's why your character is different in that sense. For instance, if you see let's say a Dawson, right? A Dawson would not deal a lot of damage because he has an area in the stage where he would sort of gain control. That's a lot of potential damage to zone, right? A lot of potential damage. It doesn't mean it's guaranteed. It's potential damage, right? So it's okay for him to get multiple situations, because you also have another area where you could dominate. I'm not talking about balance. I'm talking the design of each character archetype,
For sure.
Right? Yeah, but then there will be some outlandish characters, right? For instance, that will just kill you in 2 touches, right? And that one is an anomaly, and I totally agree with you in that one, because the reward is so crazy. It's so insane.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Dawson has to be correct more than Akuma in order for him to win.
Absolutely. Yes, that one you have to be more correct in the guessing in the Okis, right? In the Oki, right? If you were to. But then Dawson also gets some easy access damage if he pokes here. He gets some far range here. He should have the advantage to hit you more, because you're in a range situation.
So you don't think that if Akuma, so let's say I know Akuma has less health, so it's a little tricky on that part. But then again, Dawson doesn't do a lot of damage, right? Okay, so let's say Akuma does more damage, so he can literally kill you in 2 hits. With two of the right hits, he could fucking smoke your shit.
He does it to everybody.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He does it to everybody. Okay, but I'm saying Dawson, based off of what he has to do, right? He has to be correct in maintaining his win condition more times. Yes, because I have more easy access to sort of quote unquote pound for pound decision. I have more access to hit you with small damage. I can cut you 1,000,000 times basically, right? But I wouldn't kill you like that. That's the design of the character, right? So the way you look at this is you just simplify it. Drive reversal, punish. Everybody has to do everybody does 20%, 19, 18, depending what meter you do, right? But how come Akuma gets 40%? That's all. Right.
That's all. So he clearly is the anomaly in that department. So it's not necessarily like the character to character, right? But then it's like that character damage is extremely high in general because he gets the 2 MP into 5 HP into the OD, whatever, right? So that makes him quite unique of a character, Akuma, you know?
Well, that doesn't combo on counter. That only combos on punish counter.
Punish counter. Yeah, after drive reversal, right?
Oh, you're saying driver. Okay, I think you're saying drive rush. My bad.
Yeah, drive reversal punish. You know? That's it. Who has the best drive reversal punish? Aside from him and Zangief. Seriously. Like, nothing. It's not even close.
I don't know, honestly.
Huh?
I don't know.
Even Bison doesn't do a lot of damage compared to Akuma on that one because he has to, unless you're bombed already. Right. Yes. But yeah, but like in general, Akuma does the highest damage from a block drive reversal. Because you can do 2 MP, 5 HP, and 2 OD, bam, 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 right? And that one will always do 40%. Yeah.
True. Jamie does a lot of damage on drive reversal too, I'm not going to lie, because he does strong, EX palm, drive rush, fierce, fierce, light DP. Wait, that does like a pretty good...
What drink do you have?
What to do that?
Are we talking about? Realistically, you should always like, okay, if you're level 1, can you do those things?
Yeah, you can do it at 0. Right? You can do it at 0.
Okay, so what's your combo route? 2 MP?
2 MP, EX palm, drive rush, fierce, DP. No, that's pretty good. It does pretty good damage.
That's can you do 40%?
Not at 0. Nah, definitely not. But the thing is, if you corner somebody, if you corner somebody, you probably have a drink, right? So you could say you could basically start it at
level
1. Right. Yeah. So it's pretty. It's like 30, maybe 30 something ish from what I remember, but it's not bad.
Can you do 33%?
If I'm higher in the things, absolutely, bro. He does mad fucking damn. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro.
Okay, so what happened to Jamie being correct more times, right? Imagine if you only highlighted that scenario.
But the thing is, more times doesn't sound. It doesn't mean, hey, I gotta fucking get a 9,000 fucking test score, like, right? No, I'm just saying.
Here. Yeah, I'm on your side. I'm telling you that's why the situation would change depending on what topic we're talking about. Right? The reward is a totally different topic than the amount of interaction somebody has to win. Because now the archetype of the character design has to come into that one. For instance, like Guy will win more interactions, correct? Because why? He has more control. Right? So it's okay for him to win multiple interaction in that versus, let's say, fighting a Shoto. A Shoto has to take risks there against a Gal archetype. Okay, because they have less control. But then if you hit Guile, though, it's going to be a situation. So you have like ease of use.
Do you think Guile does not make a good decision because he has the advantage in the interactions? Do you count that or no?
No. He has to make good decisions because he has to play perfect because he doesn't do a lot of baby hits into big conversion. Sure, he can do 5 HP, 2 MP DRC. Sure, like anybody. But he doesn't have 2 MK DRC and also he has to charge, right? But he also has the benefit that people has to come to him instead. So he gets to hit people like walking in or pressing, preemptives and stuff, etc. So that's why it's okay that he has to win more interaction. Because that's why the grapplers doesn't have to win many interactions because they don't have enough control in a said space. Right? So that's why they should be able to win after 2 interactions after stealing or robbing you over 1 situation. That's the design of a character, That's why comparing that part is weird because our archetypes would change everything. How a character archetype. Because it shouldn't be like, well, like this guy only had to win X amount of interactions, but then this guy, that. But then again, there will be characters like Akuma and Bison who just 2 touches you. Sure, those 2. Yeah, but in general, the archetypes remain the same.
I will say too, like, thinking about his path, he had some pretty good matchups. I think Jamie does really well against the Shotos. Except for Akuma's a little tricky, I'm not gonna lie, because that fireball's like insane. But yeah, but outside of Akuma, I think he does pretty well against all of the Shotos archetypes, anything that's like similar to that. So yeah, I think he's just not an easy character to play, but I have an interesting listen to this. I have an interesting epiphany I had about him, and I wanted to get your perspective. So I think Jamie is an anti-meta character. That sounds fucking weird, right?
I mean, elaborate.
So like the constant interactions in the game that happen, which can be like, you know, like take your turn back with low forward, right? Or you know, like what's another one? You know, like managing your drive gauge. You got to be really like careful with it. You know, stuff like that, right? He has a lot of tools, bro, that like counter a lot of the strong tactics in the game, and it's very weird. I was like thinking about this, like, wait a fucking second, have I been playing this character the wrong way? Because here's a great example, right? I'm only Jamie that does this, but you know how like people like to reflex, like on like a walk forward, they just, as soon as you try to occupy space, they just check with a light, because lights are so strong in this game, right? Shuttle lights are fucking insane, I agree. Right? Yeah. Okay. I was looking at the hurt boxes of light attacks, and you know, like a lot of the light attacks in this game, they have extended hurt boxes like 2 frames before they go active, right? It's a big fat square. You guys can go look at it. You'll see a big fat square that pops up. Okay, and the green indicates that that's what you can hit if you don't know about hitboxes and hurt boxes. So the thing about Jamie though is Jamie's stand fierce is fucking broken, in my opinion. Yes, it is. It is. That button is 5 frames, right? It is cancelable. It's safe on block. And the hitbox on that shit is so disjointed, it does not make any sense. So I've been walking up on people that have really good reactions, and they like try to check me with that shit, and I just walk up stand fierce, and I fucking destroy them so consistently, and then I get punish counter, and I get whatever the fuck I want afterwards. Well, not anything I want, but you know, I can get drink, whatever. I mean, right?
What you're doing is basically what Luke used to do, just walking in and pressing 2 MP and let's see what happens, right? Basically, but you're pressing fierce instead of medium.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's faster, right? Yeah. One, because I don't have to crouch. I don't have to crouch, and it's actually a frame faster. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And
for sure.
And I don't have to confirm or commit. Jamie, like Luke had to commit. He had to do strong into a cancel. I could stand fierce, and I don't have to
confirm that. Like, are we serious? There's no committing to that.
No, I'm saying like in terms of like meter, like he'd have to spend meter to convert. You see what I'm saying? Because he can't strong. You see what I'm saying? Because he'll be too far. But I could fierce. It moves forward, and then I'm in range to convert meterless. So like,
no. That's a benefit for sure.
100%.
When you whiff, you have more punishing. If you are more punishable if you whiff. That's the difference. But you're not advantage.
That's but it's unlikely I'm going to whiff. It's unlikely because I move forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. So but how does that make you anti-meta?
No, because what I'm saying is, if you look at his tool set, he has a lot of tools that neutralize the strongest tactics of the game, in my opinion.
Like what? Aside from
one of them.
You're saying you're pressing fierce.
That's one of them.
In neutral.
Yeah, that's one of them, right?
I know I can name so many characters that does that.
Take it. Like who?
Ken.
With what?
Mashing fierce into Jinrai to run into fucking whatever he wants. Akuma, fierce. Ryu doing pressing fierce. JP pressing fierce. Ed pressing.
Yeah, but the thing is the risk of doing that is so much higher than Jamie's. You know what I'm saying? And
every time you whiff, that's also a risk.
Bro,
that's true.
But that's my point. Is how do you cannot whiff with that move. That move moves forward so far.
Whiffing something like should not be part of like if we're talking about a strategy, because that's like a human error basically, right? Okay,
yeah.
So now let's talk about the strengths of the
but that's
move,
a part of strength is risk management. You have to have risk management involved with strategy.
No, when you whiff. Whiffing is a problem, right? Okay, that all of us makes a mistake sometimes, you know. But like, when you whiff something, it's
not intentional. It's not intentional, of course. But the numbers, we have to be aware of the likelihood of it happening. Because if you're just blind to it, if you're just ignoring the fact that it is a possibility, you're not factoring that into your stability in terms of your strategy. You have to factor that in to have a stable strategy.
Do you think can players factor into walk up and fierce us? Walk up, fierce? Do you think they?
Well, if they play a good fucking player, they have to. They have no choice.
I mean, it's hard to whiff that, brother. Because if you are trying to make it whiff, you're gonna get hit by the 2 MK into Jinrai, into GRC, shit, whatever. So it's hard to make that whiff. So most of the time you are crouching to block that. That's why. But then again, yes. Okay, sure. Okay, fierce. Aside from the fierce, let's go to the next one.
Okay, so light target combo, obnoxious. 5 frames, confirmable.
Yes, that's good. That is very good.
Confirmable,
yes,
and here's the thing. The big theme of this game is what? Meter management. That's 100% the big theme of this game. 100%. Sure. That is the main focus of this game. if you look at Jamie, it's like I now understand why they buffed him the way they buffed him, because they have to be very careful with how they buff him, not in terms of making him obnoxious, but because his meter management is where he actually shines. Because look, here's another example, right? So that was a meterless thing with like checking one of the strongest tactics in the game with like Shoto lights, right? Here's another one. Taking your turn back with target combo is insane because it's 5 frames, it's hit confirmable, right? If you hit it, you don't have to DRC. A lot of the turn shifts, I like to call it a turn shift when people try to take the turn back. People commit to a DRC, right?
Okay.
Because of the meter.
Let me just counter that. So you say you have a target combo take turn, right? You have that. That's a good option, right? But you start off with a light, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So imagine Ken not having a target combo, but he would do crouching jab, 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 standing light kick. Is that not considered as similar as a target combo?
Yeah, but the difference is the
what? I would like to hear this one.
Well, the difference is in my opinion, is the range, because his target combo goes really far and he moves forward. Again, that's like a main component of this character. He's constantly moving forward, so he's not really whiffing on his conversions, right?
Have you seen the 5 OK how far that shit is, brother?
That's true. Ken's does go pretty far. I give you that. Yeah. That is true. All right. Okay. But then his Oki is definitely better than Ken's. Aside from like from a light, I'm saying from a light, his right, because
you do get more.
You do get more.
Get a DP and then a drive rush, fierce meaty, or a grab or a shimmy, and then take the ass to the corner.
But Jamie gets that, like he gets like the double dash, but he also gets safe jump. Right, he gets so much. He gets drive rush feints.
1, 2, 3. But isn't your safe jump only in the corner though?
No, you can do it mid screen. With jump heavy kick.
Yeah, but they get a back recovery.
No, jump heavy kick.
Yeah, and then you do the jump heavy kick, but the safe jump is irrelevant because you're going to be outside of a grab range.
No,
anyways.
Because you're plus 11, so you can drive rush jab. If they try to check you, you trade and you can combo off of it. Yep. Pretty cheap.
Not so bad.
Pretty cheap. Yeah. So, but that's like whatever, right? But what I'm saying is, and then like look at his meter, man. Like the character's just character's insane. He's insane, bro. So I think.
So now week 5, we finally heard you say that Jamie's broken.
I didn't say he's.
So now if the Jamie does not win, it's a skill issue. Is that because that's all I wanted to hear? That's why I had to bring up Kane. You know what I'm saying? I had to bring up the Jamie player's placing because I just wanted to hear from the player that it's a skill issue why I failed. That's all. You just want some self accountability. That if you lose, you lose. It's your fault. It has nothing to do that your character is quote unquote trash. You know what I'm saying? Right? It's the skill issue. That's all I wanted to hear, brother. That's what I want to hear. Because look, characters are available for everybody. But if you tell me the last 3 weeks that Jamie is this, and now you're saying this, okay. So he's cheap. Okay, cool. Okay. But now when the Jamie player loses, self-accountability, brother. You suck. You whiff that shit. You fucking decide not to play neutral and just do OD palm and somehow ate a DI and just died. That's your bad. Right? You know what I mean? So it's just self-accountability, brother. That's it.
All right, so next topic. So what we got going on is, let's see. Oh, so we got the Season 3 changes. So, Champ, there's a lot of weird fucking videos, as equally weird as your opinions.
Why are we transferring to this one? How are you going to have some self-accountability like this? You've been dodging this shit for 4 weeks now, brother. Like, you keep blaming the balance. The problem is you. Who's holding the controller? Is it Jamie or Zaf? Zaf is holding the controller. He's the one making decisions. He's the one dealing with them things. He's the one managing his meter, his risk management. So if you lose, it's not because of Jamie's trash. Okay? It's not. It's because you made bad decisions. It's like, bro, I could have played it better. You could always say that.
Okay. So, yes. Okay. Let me tell you something. Okay. If I don't win Combo Breaker this week, it's my fault.
No, that's unfair. No, that's not
my fault.
That's not reasonable. Come on.
What do you mean? What the fuck? I think I can win Combo Breaker. I know I can win Combo Breaker.
Playing bad. I'm talking like if you lose and you played bad, you can't blame your character. You could say
no, it's my fault regardless. I take extreme accountability. Although I do think some parts of the game suck, I still take accountability. That's what keeps me going.
Okay. Yeah. So you're just supposed to just win every tournament now from here on out.
No, but I'm just saying if I don't win, then it's my fault.
I think you could just say like, well, I could have played better, you know. But there's a lot of victories there. You don't have to win, but you could have many small victories in a sense to have a successful victory. Like if you get top 8, that's a fucking W as a starting point for your Jamie, for instance.
Okay.
Because now you showed that not only Kane and the other cat from Japan can get top 8. We also have one from NA that can kind of do it too. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm just motivating your ass. If those cats can do it in a tough tournament environment, you can sort of do it too.
100%.
Yeah.
I don't want to say I don't. Okay, but what's the difference between saying I could do better or it's my fault versus I could have played better? Sounds like the same thing to me.
No, it's not, because here I could have played it better. There was self accountability compared to fucking my character is just trash. Fucking this Akuma, that Bison, this, and this, and that. A lot of complaints before that. This one, I could have played it better. It's very clear I made these bad decisions that transitioned to me losing. If I optimize my decision making here and just pick these options, then I would have definitely played that matchup better or that game better. It's a lot. It's like that's like night and day, brother. This time, you know, yeah, right. You know, you kind of like. You took it upon yourself, like, oh yeah, dude, if I just cleaned up my decision there, I don't even know why would I go for a command grab there. I was winning 70 to 20% advantage. If I go for a command grab, if I'm wrong now, he fucking corners my ass because he combos side switch. Now my 70-20% advantage is gone. I could have just gone for the delay grab or just grab him. But why the fuck would I have to be greedy to go for that stupid fucking command grab, right? That's a bad decision, you know, in a sense. Especially being down 1-0. In a way, you know?
True.
But yeah.
True. Okay. You're right. You're correct. Very rare.
Mean, you have to have self accountability if you want to improve, right? This is really simple in fighting games. If you're gonna blame other shit aside from the person holding the controller, that's it. It's like a constant loop. Really.
That's the wrong vortex to be in. Okay, you're right. Okay, so Champ, I know you've been dying to talk about this because before we started this, you said you had a lot to talk about these changes. So let's talk about these changes, Champ. I know you've been seeing what's happening on Twitter with these changes. Oh my goodness. Where do we start? Do we want to talk about the throw change?
Yeah, so I'm sure everybody has seen it already on Twitter, all these videos that Capcom has released about Elena and CPU fighting each other, you know, whatever. And they've seen they've seen that attacking a grab basically gives you a little bit of drive gauge. I mean, a little bit of like super meter and 1 bar, right, of drive gauge. But then if you do a delay grab, now you count as the defender as well. And now you get the meter as being the aggressor. Did you see that one? Did you ever see that one? Yeah,
like so the person that is defending gets drive and then they get a bit of super too, right? That's what you're talking about?
Yeah. Okay. Keep that thought in mind. Okay, let's say I grab you and you tech. You're supposed to get the meter, correct?
Right.
Okay. So let's go back to the same scenario. Let's say I do a jab and then I do like a slightly 2-frame extra delay kind of grab. Okay, or like I just do a -3 scenario and I go grab you. Now, and then you tech the grab. The game now would think that I am the defender, even though I was the aggressor, since I was late. So now I try to grab your ass, right? And I got the meter too? Can you imagine how strong throw loops are? If the throw loops are still there. Obviously, we don't know, right? But imagine that. That would be so insane. So the meta would be different then. If that was the case, the meta would be simple, more straightforward. So instead of now it's either jab or it's like jab or delay jab. Nobody teching then. If there is still a throw loop, right? In that sense, right? You know? In a way. Because now also, if you think about it, if there's a reward, let's say just even remove that exploit. Remove that. Okay, let's just say it's straight up. Whoever's a defender gets meter if they tech. Okay, so if that's the new meta, now it's more likely somebody would tech. The probability is higher now, right? It's higher. So now shimmies are more common in general, right? They gotta get more shimmies in general. Right. There's gonna be more attempts of that, right? Like that. Especially let's say you have low meter, right? I'm just gonna shimmy. instead, right? Because you can attack because you want to build meter.
Right.
For the most part, sure, just mind games, there's layers. I understand that. But then now think about this part. Let's say I do wake up perfect parry, you grab me, I lose a bar, punish counter. Next time I do wake up tech. You grab me, I tech, I get that meter that I lost from wake up perfect parry.
Shit, yeah, true.
You understand? So that's also another layer that you add
into
the
damn
defensive, trio, whatever you want to call that, right? So it's like I was thinking about that shit, and I was like, wait, so this would be that, and that's would be this. So that offense. So assume, because like we talked about this 2 weeks ago, that it's impossible to remove the throw loop unless they change every single grab, right?
Right.
Because we have grabs that are plus 30 on knockdown, right? So how do you change that? It's impossible, right? Even if you add throw protection, for the most part, right? Now it's not gonna be grab. Now it's just gonna be like grab, meaty, then grab. It's like, right? Because there's a throw protection, Like, so it's like it's actually impossible to remove throw loop in that sense, unless they have some new creative ideas. Because I even check out the backdash when Elena backdash, it's still the same amount of frames as well. So it's like, okay, so they didn't change the backdash. I saw the damage of the grab, it's still the same. So it's like, okay, so if the only change is rewarding the defender from teching, then that means there's still throw loop, and this is not necessarily a fix or a help to the throw looping problem, or whatever you want to call that problem. It's not a fix at all. It's not, because if ever, it actually benefits the aggressor even more, because you just do a slight delay grab.
Right.
If they parry, you get a grab. If they're mashing, you're gonna block the mash because you did a slight delay grab. If they take the grab, you're just gonna get the grab. If you take the grab, then you get meter, and then he still focuses in the corner.
Right.
Yeah, so you basically only lose to backdash and jump, basically.
Right. Yeah. So I told you, I said, yo, they're gonna try to fix it in a way nobody's thinking of.
No, but we thought about it though.
Did we think about meter? We didn't think about meter.
No, not that part. But because that's not a fix.
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
that's not a fix though. Like I'm talking, I gave you like some actual true fixes though. The one that would actually sway the math part of it.
Right.
Right. Okay. Then actual like reason, like actually a good solution to the problem. Right. You just increase the recovery frames of the grab by 5 extra frames. It doesn't affect any offense or anything, but it affects somebody from like basically if they backdash the grab, now you get a heavy starter. So if they throw loop you backdash, you get heavy starter, not jab. Right. So that would make somebody think twice to go for throw. See, that fixes the throw loop. Because like now you're gonna like, wait, if I go, I get 12%, but if I'm wrong, I take 32. That's not good math. So you know what? Let's just wait. That's like such an easy fix, and like it's just too good if you do that. Like that would be like, wow, he had the balls to really go for a grab there again. He would have died because you have a heavy starter punish counter. If they grab you, just back that.
I think if they add like more intensity, like that's basically what it sounds like. If they just make it more intense going for the throw, it's just gonna be a better experience for the players and the spectators. Because right now it throws the strongest fucking option. It beats the strongest defensive tool, right? And there's just very little counterplay. Like, yeah, you jump out the corner, you get cross-cutted. Okay, cool, right? Like, I guess, like, right? But like, there's no real, and investing the bar is not worth it, because depending on the situation, you're gonna be close to burnout. You're not gonna be able to follow up with pressure anyways, because most of the fucking DPs in the game, you'd have to drive rush afterwards. You just spent 2 bars, probably took a couple bars worth of damage being in the corner. You're probably gonna be on burnout. So the DP doesn't even make sense, right?
Yeah. I mean, hold on, let me answer the question. Like, that makes shimmies easier. I mean, brother, if somebody whips a grab in front of you and you had the mindset to go for a shimmy, you had 30 frames to do that.
Yeah, it's easy.
To have 35 frames to do that, it would not make a difference.
Right, yeah, agreed.
Yeah, if you were thinking to shimmy anyways and punish a whiff grab, brother, an extra 5 frames would not make a difference at all in the offense. So,
agreed. Yeah. Agreed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then let's look at the Elena stuff, right? So the perfect parry change. So the perfect parry change, right? where now you have to you need to now pick a direction. So it's either obviously all mids is obviously back and parry, all lows is just down, back and parry. And then I was thinking about this, how much would this affect in general, like in the normal tap parry scenarios? Not like, obviously it will affect something for sure, it would make some change, sure, but let's say we're in this situation where you can only press Jamie's 5 MK, to take turn, right? And I'm gonna parry there. Why the fuck would I do down back parry there?
I see what you're saying. It's too obvious, right?
Well, it's too obvious, right? I just do back parry.
Right.
I'm gonna back and parry there in that spot, right? It will just be an easy fix in those spots. Like if I'm gonna do down parry in this scenario, yeah, sure, I'm gonna just do down parry here because the normal that you can hit me here with is only 2 MK anyways.
Right.
Right? So it's still gonna be down parry. Right? Okay, so now the jump in. Are we crouching when somebody jumps at us, or do we down back then parry? We're still standing, right? We're black and then parry. Right. So how does that make a difference in that sense, right? But I see the other areas that it does affect, though. It does make a difference in the other areas.
You know what's crazy too, bro? Is like imagine the buttons that have similar recovery but are different different stances, like our mids, whatever, like mid. Yeah. Then it's like, what does it matter? Because you could just OS for the low. If you still get perfect parry, but it's without animation, right? You could just OS and then the screen freeze would eat your OS, and then you'd be like, oh, you did this instead, right?
Yeah, I mean, you only every time you press the parry button, it will lock into whatever initial direction you're in, right? Anyway, so you can't necessarily always it unless you block something in that first time you press it. You basically absorb something, and then now you can input the second parry. So I guess in that sense,
no, I'm not saying to OS a second parry. I'm saying a parry that covers both timings of, like, let's say a button is 9 frames. Like, let's say you have a sweep that's 9.
8 frame.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? And you cover that window, and then it's
we do that already, though. We do that already.
But that's what I'm saying. This change, it doesn't make sense, because if that situation, it's not gonna matter, because the fast parry, the no screen freeze, you just input it, and it's nothing's gonna come up because of screen freeze.
That one. We're wrong too. Like, how? I thought it was like that. For instance, like this. So the game, for instance, okay. So in this game, if you get a perfect parry, a slowdown animation, or whatever, let's say a jab, right? The game kind of awards you with 5 to 6 frames of extra frames during that. That's why you were able to punish a jab,
right?
Tap parry, for like -7 to -9, depending on the jab, right? Whatever character, how late, how early you get the parry, right? Sure. But if with no perfect parry animation, now those jabs that you parry would just now be -3, -2. Sure, there will be maybe some few scenarios that it will be -4. But now it will be like that, because now you would lose that extra 5 or 6 frames.
You don't think the value is gonna? You think the value is gonna change because of the freeze frame not being there?
Yes, yeah, because they already showed a clip where Elena went for like a meaty overhead or something, and then obviously the other Elena parried it, got the imperfect parry basically, but no animation, and she tried to press the button. The way the way they pressed the button was a bit late, but you only got a counter hit, not a punish counter. So basically, you lose the amount of frames. So that's a big deal in a sense. It's less. I promise you, it's gonna be less.
You think so? What if I feel like we're gonna be wrong. I feel like it's gonna be the same shit, bro. If you perfect parry, a jab is gonna be -5.
I hope that we're wrong, but I'm telling you, that's what it is. Yeah.
Imagine that. That would be crazy. If jabs will be safe. I don't think
it's a 10 frame recovery. It's not true, because if it's a 10 frame recovery, that means like the jabs in general, or like I don't think it's 10 frames. I think you get a bonus 5 or 6 frames. I think whoever said this before, like Capcom or something, they said that you get an additional 5 or 6 frames or something. It's not 10 frames. Like you talk about the fireball. Okay, I'm talking like these scenarios where, because if that's the case, if it's at 10 frames and then you get the parry normal, and then like it doesn't make sense with the math.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say, it doesn't make sense. So an additional 5 to 6 frames to tap parry a jab, for instance, and you being only +8. for instance, an average.
Yeah, it's average.
Makes sense that you got 5 or 6 extra frames from the game from that full slowdown animation. If you're telling me there's a +10, what the fuck? Is that initially +2? No, it's minus jabs. The jabs are minus, right? So math-wise, it doesn't make sense already. So yeah, that one made more sense. The +5 or +6 extra frames.
Okay, but what if they make it so it's like they somehow mess with the values so the imperfect parry is still like super advantaged to where you can punish counter jabs? You think that would be bad?
I don't think it's gonna be bad. I think that's gone. I do know the meta from that will be nicer though. So let's say I tap parry for, I'm guessing a different situation, but I got a tap parry, imperfect parry from your jabs. Now I'm +2, +3. Now I'm gonna use that situation to neutral jump shimmy your ass.
Right.
Right, or gonna use that situation to create offense instead. So it will be more faster decision or faster recognition of what kind of parry you got.
I'm so for that. I love shit like exciting. That. Yeah, I love stuff like that, bro. Because that's like
super exciting.
That's stuff you can't teach. That's all drilled through instincts and experience. And that's my favorite part of the game.
I'm super excited for that.
That's like more player expression, in my opinion, is to see somebody pull some shit like that. You're like, poof! Like imagine doing that and backdash shimmying a throw, like a delay tech or something. You know what I'm saying?
Like corner. You know what I mean? That would be ooh boy. That's just
especially man. This could. I know some people like at first glance are like, man, these changes are fucking underwhelming. But it's like you said, man. You change one thing, it changes an entire ecosystem of decisions.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, so, and we still don't know what they changed with the grab.
Right.
Because they're only showing Elena. Because Elena not having a throw loop is, I mean, it's weird, but it also sort of makes sense because Chun-Li doesn't have it in a way, right? Chun-Li doesn't have it, so like it's not like she's the only one. Obviously Honda too, but like I'm saying, like so now the throw loop, we don't know exactly what happens in that one. We don't know. We have no idea, and we also don't know what are the changes that they have added also to specific characters, right? Because that also matters a lot, Like also we don't know the meter gain for the most part. Maybe Elena has a faster one, who knows? But like I say, we don't know the changes down to specifics, right? Because if they nerf meter gain by 10% or something, right? That's like a nerf on damage across the board as well, in general, because you have less you have like more time it takes for you to actually gain access to your damaging option, right? So yeah, so we still don't know what's gonna happen in those things. But in the event that this is the changes, and then they nerf throw loop for whatever reason, brother, fucking Guile will be cooking, and JP, bro.
Yeah, JP and Guile will be
okay, but JP and Guile will be cooking because they have reversals.
Right.
They got that.
So when you do make that decision, it's like
and you have to wake up level 1 too as well. So that's a fucking big deal.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, so if that was the case, right? Yeah. But the pressure in the corner though, when you're getting oppressed, you're doing like 2MK and not canceling, and just poking them, and you're containing somebody in the corner, right? And then all of a sudden you go for, you're not afraid to might randomly get perfect parried, tap parried in that sense. So you're conditioning them to do a lot of lows, and then you went for like a mid, and then they try to parry there, and they don't get a perfect parry. That's a pretty cool scenario because you actually conditioned that in a way.
I think grapplers will get buffed too from that, because a large part of the grapplers struggling in this game is bad defense, right? And so if you force people to take these risky maneuvers to try to impose offense, but then there's the risk of running into like a command grab or some sort of fucked up situation, I think that they'll benefit a lot from it too.
Imagine that, bro. I wake up perfect parry on first knockdown. I was wrong. You took my meter. Second one, you think I'm gonna behave? I wake up, grab next time. You grab me, I tech it, I gain my meter back. Like that would be so crazy, right? In that sense, and that's super valid. It's just like, damn, that's so scrubby. It's like, okay, cool. Like, so now you can also add that situation, and it's part of your decision making. Sure, it's not gonna be your main decision making, but it's something that you would then add to your choices down the road, right? If you have to make a read or whatever, if need be. It's pretty cool. It's very refreshing to see, or maybe like even think about that these potential changes, because it will actually shake up the meta. Hopefully.
I feel like it's gonna be more engaging, like to play and to watch, like especially watching, because I find I'm more interested. I don't know about you, but just in the neutral. But then when it gets to the corner, I kind of just like mentally check out when I watch the game. In the neutral, it's way more interesting to me. The corner game, I don't really care for the game, to be honest. As a spectator,
part of the game.
Part of the game, yeah, but it's just
as a spectator.
Yeah, as a spectator, I'm saying, right? Like, of course, as I'm playing it, it's intense, so I am engaged. Yeah. But I'm saying, like, when I'm watching it, I just get like, you know. The neutrals is like beautiful to me.
I appreciate it still, at least for me. Okay, like because I would just pay attention to what are the choices this player did to get out of the corner, or to keep the pressure, or to contain the person in the corner. Like there's still a lot of choices that you could also appreciate from the pro. That's
sometimes it's just guessing, bro. That shit is whack. You know. And this though will make you not be lazy. That's why I like this shit. This change. That's what I like. I like active thinking. That's what I fucking love. That, you know. So like when I see somebody make a decision, it's like, oh man, you had to factor in all of these things. It wasn't just mindlessly throw and no. It's like yo, you threw with the risk of getting this dude out of that's the thing too, bro. Ryan, bro, if you're in burnout and you tech, you get your bar back. You know what I'm saying? Like,
don't know that.
There's no way they don't do that. There's no way.
But we don't know that.
There's no way. It makes sense
though, logic-wise, since you're gaining bar when you are not burnt out, right? You're gaining a bar. Does that translate into like you getting your bar faster or your meter faster when you're burnt out?
There's no way they don't do that.
Yes, it makes sense logically, but like
Jamie does it because Jamie's super. He does it. He gains it back in burnout.
Yeah, Jamie can just drink and you get a meter for sure, but that's unique for the character. I'm talking like the game mechanic at all, like for instance, right? But you don't know. But sure, that makes sense what you're saying, though. Logically speaking, that makes sense, right? But we just don't know. We don't have enough information because Capcom likes to release the patch, then the patch notes backwards. It should be patch notes first, and then release the patch at said time, right? That's how it works in other games, but Capcom does it backwards.
Ass backwards.
Yeah, it's like, how the fuck do you release the patch and then release the patch notes 2 hours later, and now everybody have to data mine once we download the patch?
Yeah.
What the fuck? That is so stupid.
Yeah, especially because like the maintenance is gonna be down, right? And then everybody's gonna be like gaslighting, like, oh
hey,
man,
Space boy, what's up, man?
Yo, like there's gonna be so much gaslighting going on, bro. Like, oh my god, I remember one time motherfuckers were like, oh my god, Dalsum can combo jab into EX Flame. I was like, oh, that's a pretty sick change. That motherfucker can't do that, bro.
Yeah, cannot.
I'm like, how do you even like? What the fuck possesses you to say some shit like this and just piss me off?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what's gonna happen to this fucking thing. It's like I you know the thing about this is like it's legit gonna happen like in 14 days, 15 days, whatever. Right?
Yeah, we got what 1, 2, 2 days, 2 weeks and 2 days. 2 weeks, 2 days.
Throw a Rashid. What do you mean? Would you throw a Rashid? What do you mean throw a Rashid? I don't know.
I'm assuming because
what does that mean?
I'm assuming because Rashid has the air cyclone, but you guys know that if you're +3, you can throw Rashid and he can't air cyclone you.
I don't understand what does that mean, Saba. Tell me, elaborate on that question. Like, are you talking like, would I throw a Rashid player for $1 million outside the window? Are we talking about the character throw, grab, forward grab, back grab?
That was violent.
What are we doing? I don't understand.
Oh, would you throw him and give him level 2? Oh, that makes sense.
They will always get milled meter anyways.
That's true. But that's kind of funny, though.
Level 2 is going to be accessible. If he hits you, then he does it.
That is actually pretty funny, though.
Yeah. So it wouldn't make a difference.
That's hilarious.
If I let him live, if I don't go for a mix-up and just let him live, then he's eventually going to get an opportunity to land that stupid level 2 anyways. So you might as well go for the fucking potential damage.
True. That is a valid point. Okay, so is that all? Oh no, we got actual Elena.
Combo breaker as well.
No, actual Elena gameplay because they revealed the gameplay. What do they call that thing when they do the character showcase?
I do not know, but we watched it all yesterday. Did you watch it yesterday?
No. They dropped the character guide today.
The character guide, but we don't need no guide. We saw the fucking thing already in the video. I watched fucking all of them.
Yeah, but this is the one that like goes into like the in-depths about how each of the normal everything, all the specials work and shit like that. You didn't watch it yet?
No, I have not seen
I didn't watch it yet. You want to watch it?
I mean, sure.
Okay.
Why not?
All right.
All right. Elena is a technical character who controls the beat of battle. Okay, yeah, we know this already. Go ahead.
Okay. You're not gonna read it? You want me to read it?
No, it's because this is not important.
What the fuck, champ? Everything is important.
No, it's not. Do I need to know her history? I just need to see the normals and what he does.
Motherfucker, listen.
I do not need to know what dance she's doing, if she's doing fucking Jabberwockies, whatever the fuck. Just go to the fucking good shit. Like, do I need to know if she, you know what I mean? Like, go to the fucking important shit. Go to the next one.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
No, it's like, it's a waste of time.
Oh my god, bro.
Target combo, both target
Let me
combos.
fucking read. She has a number of highly damaging moves against standing opponents, so you'll want to make use of her overhead and long reach to force enemies to stop crouching. Ah.
Yes, that's what overhead does.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Rhino horn. Okay. Speed fighter. 4.
Okay, a series of quick forward moving kicks, effective at sending the opponent flying back. I didn't see the last part. This move can't hit crouching
like
opponents.
that standard B&B.
Okay, but deals powerful damage. It's great for launching enemies into the air. Or as part of a combo, you can be sure they're standing. Okay.
Oh, so she's gonna have combos for standing and crouching. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Okay.
Look at that. So she's gonna have specific combos. So that means she's gonna have a 4-stand normal then. Kind of like Mai would do background house. You'd make a stand, you know, and link. So you can combo the quarter circle back, whatever. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Huh?
Okay, so the stronger the kick, the farther forward you jump. The light version is easy to integrate into combos, so I recommend practicing with that one first. If you corner the opponent, try using scratch wheel.
Definitely pay attention to the walk speed, brother, because that's the one that's gonna be oppressing the fuck out of us. Is the walk speed. Ooh. That looking like a grab situation right there.
There's the OD version. Oh, that's so cute. That's so pretty.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Okay. The chain moves off of it. Hey, yo.
The side switch,
What
yeah.
the fuck?
I think that's Scott's meter, you know? That's
Yeah,
nice.
that's true. It's not like Ken, right?
Yeah. And this is level 1?
That's not
or level 2. Level 2.
No way. Yeah,
level 2? It's a level 2. Scratch heal, so this gotta be the overhead? Or something? Or the low?
That's
The low
DP,
is
that's DP?
scratch heal.
DP.
What a DP? Why is it scratch heal? Okay, that's the DP. Okay.
Ooh, this is kind of funky. I like this song.
Dude, she's gonna oppress the fuck out of you with the mediums and then fucking jump. Okay.
She can impress me all she want, baby. How?
Okay, Link song. Okay, it's overhead.
Okay.
Whatever. Oh no, that's a stance. That's a sway. Okay. Yeah, that's a sway thing. Okay, cool.
Oh shit.
It looks pretty.
That was fast as fuck.
I mean, she did it preemptively already, so.
You think so? It wasn't reaction?
No way. What the fuck? You think this is Jamie?
Bro.
Just kidding. I just had to press it one more time. I'm sorry, Zaf. I love you. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. We're gonna stop. Okay. I'm gonna stop. Zaf, don't end the stream like last week. Okay. Don't do that. Continue now, please. Come on. Elena is not gonna be more popular than mine because you have 2 huge reasons to play mine. Okay, if you're a casual, you have 2 huge reasons to play mine. You kind of don't have that same reason to play Elena unless you really like Elena. So no. So yeah.
Oh, what the fuck?
The stance is pretty good.
Yo, so that's like,
pretty good.
Is that like an enhancer, kind of like Rashid?
Yeah, like the Ken. You know how like Ken runs, right? He could cancel the run into DB attack. Kind of like that, right?
Okay. This is pretty sick. Wow.
Or she doesn't look that technical too, though. When those just having a stance. Damn, that looks like it has advantage too.
Yeah, she recovered really fast there.
Yeah. And you could do meaty overhead there from how it looks, at least like a plus 20.
Oh, what the fuck, bro? She's plus after that shit? Are you?
No, definitely
yeah.
not. Definitely not.
You'll be able to keep attacking whether it's hit or blocked.
Wait, can you rewind it first? What it looked?
Look.
Mallet smash she did?
Look, and she threw.
Oh, that's okay. But that's hella slow. We could have parried the fuck out of that. It's kind of like the DJ overhead. The DJ sway into overhead, right? That's plus, you know?
I don't know, man. That's a little bit scarier.
It's a big deal. It's just you gotta get used to it, right?
Oh my god, that shit was fast as fuck.
Yeah, it reminds me of something. I just can't really put a... Never mind. It reminds me of something like Dalsum Slide. I was thinking. Yeah, I was thinking about Dalsum Slide, the medium kick, okay? That it will go through a fireballs, you know what I mean? If done right. Okay. Spinning. Oh yeah, I didn't pay attention to the stage. Who's the other person in the back?
Which one?
Which is a random bystander, I guess.
I wish the stage cycled though. That would have been so fucking sick, but it's okay.
Yeah, I wish like they would just did like, you know how like you get cornered, right? And then you kind of like, you know, in Tekken you break the corner and you go to another set of stage, you know, kind of like that. And then now the corner becomes less strong if you made it that way. Let's say you get hit twice in the corner, you get knocked down twice in the corner, it breaks the corner, and now you go to a brand new stage. You know?
Yeah, they have like that, bro. It's called Guilty Gear Strive.
No, they have that in Street Fighter 5, remember? It's just that it does it at the end of the round. In like, you know, remember that? The other stage? When the Chinatown kind of stage, Street Fighter 5? When it expands, and you end up fighting in the other room. So it's not interactive, but they do it. I wish it was more interactive, though. Okay. What is this one? Moon Glider. No, it's okay.
Oh.
This is the kick thing. Yeah, you can juggle because you spend meter. Alright. Just target combo into this. Okay, yeah, you get the juggle. And then
she looks so sick.
Yes, I agree. What is this one?
Moon Glider.
Allows you to avoid attacks. Okay, yeah. This is dance, right?
Keeps you safe from counterattacks if it's blocked, so don't worry about canceling into it.
It's really like sway, brother. But this is gonna be so annoying. The nerf on the perfect parries are gonna be so annoying to do with this, because now you have to be guessing high and low and shit.
You also have longer than normal to follow up, so you have time to decide if you want to keep pressing. Wait, what do they mean by that?
Yeah.
Is it hit confirmable, or are they saying that it's plus?
I mean, you have more time, right? So imagine, you know, like Chun-Li would do crouching and fierce and then stance, right? She can kind of do it too. She could do the light kick, right? Or she could just do another overhead, right? Kind of like that. You have options to do it. I think for my understanding, it's something similar like that. Or let's say you look at like the DJ sway, right? Like you have time to decide if you wanted to go the low or the high or just sway back. So you have enough time to recognize, right? You know? Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
Oof, safe jump.
Safe jump already. I don't think like... Yeah, she's definitely not gonna be like a character that the entire CFN would be like cooking with, like how Mai is cooking, you know? Because like you actually need to play some footsies with this one, so it's actually nice, you know? I mean, sure, she's gonna have a lot of auto footsies, but still, like you can't just like bullshit around, please. And you don't have 2 MKDRC as well. It's harder to get hits, for the most part, at least.
These are the supers. Wait, why does it keep saying invincible to air attacks? Are they trying to say she doesn't have a level 1 invul super?
Against air, but remember, you can still be hit. Yeah, you can still. Yeah, it's not invincible in level 1. It's only air attack.
What?
So it's an anti-air super then. So level 1 is an issue.
Oh,
so wow. Like DJ, huh? Because DJ's level 1 is also not invincible, right?
Damn.
But level 2 is. But it's hard to like think about this character though. Your footsies in this one has to be so insane. It's gonna be so fun to play her. That's a bit too fast for a reaction.
You input down.
If
That's
you
how you
input
get it.
How much is
Let's
this?
find
I heard it's 15%, right? It's only 15%. It's not a big deal.
Yeah,
So
that looks about 15-ish, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it's either you do the damage to them or you just heal it to yourself, right?
Hmm.
So I guess if it's not gonna kill, you might as well heal. But then why even use it?
Right.
Right, but then I'm sure there's gonna be some scenarios, very rare ones. It's kind of like how Demon is super rare, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, I'm not comparing this to Demon, but I'm saying like, yeah, you're gonna spend your meter to heal in this game when there's no chip damage. I don't think it matters.
Maybe it's like burnout situations, like if you're in burnout and you get a conversion, you're like, oh, let me do this and try to get healing. My question is though, do you still deal 1 bar of drive chip if you do healing? I didn't pay attention to that.
Drive chip?
Yeah. Is it still 1 bar?
I'm not sure.
Oh yeah! Wow.
Oh, yeah, it's still 1 bar.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not gonna be common.
Yeah, probably
right? It's not going to be a common usage, right? But I think the level 2 is going to be even more. You're always going to have it because you need to save some meter because your level 1 is not invul. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like how DJ rarely use level 1, always has level 2, right? Or 3, or whatever. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be your meter management format, I guess. Right. Since if you don't have a level 1 invul, then most of the time you're using level 2s instead. So that means she's gonna hit you multiple times in a bunch of random set plays pressure. That's why her throw loop is not good. That's why she doesn't have throw loop. So it kind of makes sense. So she's gonna be supposed to be sticky then, based on design.
Yeah, and then the throw tech buff to the super gauge is gonna only help.
Yeah.
Or get it more often.
Yeah, I wonder how high were they when they were making a character like this. Because like usually when they make some changes in the game, some of them are been drinking the Henny. You know what I mean? That's why some of them are a bit questionable.
But so far, this doesn't look like none of this looks broken, right? So
yeah, definitely not. Yeah, definitely not. This one looks like, you know, well made in a sense. That's a level 3. Wait, can you rewind again after the level 3? Not the CA. Yeah, this is the right after level 3.
Is it this one?
Let's see how much advantage she has. Yeah. Pause. Oh, you have mix, right? You do have mix.
Nah, she's still recovering.
Or just recovery, or just that her stance is dancing now, huh? I think she can move already.
I mean, if she can cancel it, yeah, but
yeah, she can move already. Yeah, yeah, she doesn't. That's just her stance of moving. Yeah, and this is her CA. Ouch. Then we're not gonna see the advantage. Yeah, see, like, so what if every CA is like that now? You don't get us. You get it, because that could be a thing, right?
Oh, she definitely looked like she recovered here.
Like, no, I'm talking like, what if every CA does not give you a checkmate?
I would like that. That would be fucking awesome.
That would be crazy, right? You know, that would be nice though. Like, what if they did that? Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
But you know what's fucked up? Like, then there would be a disparity because then the projectile characters that have fireball drive rush would just still do the same shit. Because here at this spacing, this is a fireball trap spacing. They fireball, drive rush behind it, and then it's like you're in the same.
What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah,
right?
You know. So, I don't know. It's fucking 2 weeks, man. It's gonna be. Is that it? Yeah, that's basically it.
Is that it?
Yeah, that is it.
I did not really pick up on anything in that one.
June fucking 5th.
Wait, pause.
Wait, pause.
Yeah, pause. Let me just see this background. Who's that one? Like, is that Mai on the left side of Rashid? That big face?
Left side of Rashid? Underneath him, yeah. But
yeah,
up top him, right? Is Terry.
Terry, and then the right one's Chun-Li.
Chun-Li and Ryu.
In the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the season 1, season 2 DLCs basically. You see Aki
I
on
was
the
like,
bottom.
because like they should have eventually the season 3
My look actually
DLC,
took
right?
ecstasy.
Right, the season 3, right? The season 3. Right? The season 3 character DLCs should be also announced. That's part of it.
Oh, you
Right?
are
We're missing that.
right.
Where the fuck is where are the characters? Because they're supposed to charge us $25 again, right? Or 25 or 30? I don't know exactly.
30
30?
fucking
Okay.
bangers.
Yeah. Right, it's $30, right? So when are they gonna take my $30?
When did they do it last year? When did they announce the season 2?
Immediate?
With the Kuma?
No. You remember Rashid came out 9 days before Evo? Because we paid for the season pass already when the game came out, right? And then those characters are to be released in time, right? But then Steam updated their new terms, whatever.
Yeah.
Terms, whatever. That now, if you're charging somebody or you're charging a battle pass or something, some expansion shit, whatever, you're supposed to say every character. It shouldn't be like ambiguous now.
So probably June 6th is that event. What is it? The game festival thing?
Game festival. I've not.
They did that last year. That's what they did. Didn't they do that last year?
Summer Games Fest, maybe there. Yeah, maybe they did there. The game was released. The game came out June 2nd, 2023, right? So if they're doing Games Fest, when was Games Fest in 2023?
No, not 2020. I'm talking about 2024. When I'm talking about the Bison, when Akuma came out and then Bison came out right after. When did they announce season 2? That's what I. So that was at Summer Game Fest, right?
First of all, Akuma was part of the
season 1. Yes, I know that. But I'm saying, when did they announce season 2 characters?
I did not remember that one because they were so close from each other. That's why, right?
See, okay, so
sure, Akuma,
said
Bison, right.
Season 2 was Summer Games Fest, so that was the 6th of last. Was that what that was? Or you guys are saying the 6th? So it should be at that event, and that event this year is after Elena drops. So wouldn't it make sense?
Games Fest 2023 was June 8th, so they announced it there. The game came out on June 2nd. So that means a week later, they announced a DLC. So if we're going to get this one June 5, if we're following the same logic, that means they should get the announcement also within that same time frame.
Yeah, they're saying it's the 6th is the event. So that makes sense. That's one of the biggest game conventions or events of the year.
Makes sense.
Right?
Yeah, and then we're going to see the characters, and then they're going to have Sagat. And then we're never going to see Jamie anymore.
Wait, what?
100%. You're still gonna pick Jamie when your boy Sagat comes in?
Why can't I play both? I will be happy. That's my perfect shell. I have my fucking footsies character, and then I got my zoning character. My bread and butter.
You're done. You're done with the fucking Jamie when fucking Mr. Sagat show rolls up and he's like so crazy when he can like do Kara Tiger Knee, fucking real ass zoning fireballs. Fucking that Jamie drinking Red Bull shit is done. It's done. It's done, brother. You're just gonna be the Zaf in SF5 was cooking motherfuckers. Okay, that Zaf is back when that shit happens. That Sagat, that actual USA Shoto fucking Sagat fucking killer with the fireball game is back. No more fucking drinking and fucking jumping around doing some fucking mashing fears and thinking that's part of the meta and shit.
Let me ask you a question. Okay. Do you want me to do my reaction on this podcast? I will not. I will literally not watch it.
Why?
Because I just want to. Maybe I should watch it with you guys, so you guys can see me.
What do you mean podcast? What do you mean this episode? Do you ever rewatch it? I never rewatch it.
Motherfucker, I'm saying when he gets announced, when they.
Oh yes, we would love to see that. We would love to see that. We would love to see. Of course.
I don't have Twitter on my phone, so it's very easy for me to dodge spoilers. I am not gonna watch a thing until that Tuesday.
Yeah, okay? don't be on social media. Yeah, okay. For sure. It's
even if it comes out on Wednesday, I am going to dodge it until Tuesday. Okay.
That's good. I can't wait for that Sagat to be announced.
That's what I'm gonna do.
That's the last. Because if they announce Sagat, right, for instance, hopefully they announce Sagat or the DLCs for season 3. They announce it, let's say next week, or like let's say the week after the patch was released, right? That whatever that day before the announcement, that's the last day we're gonna see Jamie, guys. So we should all celebrate that. That's the last day we're gonna see that motherfucker. Guaranteed. Because I don't know if you guys remember how godlike Zap's Sagat was in S2E5. And that one was like legit zoning fucking thing with fucking footsies and shit. Can you imagine that in SF6 engine? Zap's fireball game in DP is so insane. He's gonna be able to utilize his strengths, not just jumping around and doing some dive kicks and some nonsense. So I'm more excited for him that one. I'm more excited for him that one. Wait, where are you going? I'm just saying I'm excited about your shit, bro.
Okay, I've collected myself.
Why? What's wrong?
Okay, so next. All right, so we are now on to what is going to be combo breaker. Do this combo breaker. This is gonna be pretty quick. So we got
okay.
Let's see what we got for
it's gonna be so
some
insane.
attendees, right? So we got some a lot of the heavy hitters, to be honest, are gonna be here. This is the
that's always been insane.
The first non-Evo CPT event. Everybody and their mother's gonna be there, man. Like, let's see. Can we look it up for Street Fighter? Oh, nice. You can filter this. Hold on, let me see. So I'm gonna filter this and read off some of the names.
You can just click on the side though, right? But
okay.
Yeah, you can do this too.
So we got Goichi, Fenrich, Smoke, Chris G is gonna be there. Oh, that's pretty dope. Aqua, Tachikawa, Riddles, Kusanagi, Tokido, NL, Knuckledew, Oil King, Daigo, Sien, Fudo, Mena, Bonchan, Kaba,
It's gonna be insane.
Chris T is gonna be the bro. This is I could go on. Punk's obviously gonna be there. Momoshi, bro. This is just non-stop. Like this is just gonna be insane, bro. I am excited. I can't wait. I love Combo Breaker, but I have a special love for it when it is a CPT event. Combo Breaker when it's not a CPT event is cool, but when it's a CPT event, it's a magical experience. It's fucking fire. Okay, so
and the sessions, the casuals.
Yeah, the 24-hour venue, guys. If you guys don't know about that, but you literally like last time I went there when it was CPT, it was 2019, and it was so cool at 3 a.m. walking around seeing Daigo playing casuals at 3 o'clock in the morning because they're jet lagged and they have nothing else to do, and they're just fucking playing everybody. The shit is unreal. And I just wish it was season 3 because then it would have been over the top. Everybody would have been fucking that would have been so sick, but sadly it's season 2 patch, so it's a little dent on what could be a fucking insane experience, but it's still gonna be a good time regardless. You know, it's still gonna be like a 9 out of 10 instead of a 10 out of 10, but I'm excited for it. I'm excited. I'm probably gonna do an IRL stream when I'm there, and just, you know, walk around and do shit and maybe just record any like money matches or anything that's happening, whatnot.
You're gonna have money matches there for sure.
Yeah, so I'm excited.
The thing is, like, you can like legit do money matches with Japan. It's just like you gotta know the hand signals.
The fuck? This is Naruto? What do you mean?
Brother, you think like every time you see those cats, they always down to money match. But you need to be the one to initiate the, you know, thing. Unless you wanna play, you don't want to play them, you know. But it's usually like that.
So what gang signs do I have to throw at them? Can you show me?
What?
You said hand signs.
I cannot show you that. I'm gonna tell you later.
Okay. So if I go up to like this.
Wait, if they drop a Yan and Yang, then you want to see my reaction? Why? What would that be a reaction to me?
Champ, if I do this,
Yan Yang.
that's money match, MM? I
don't know. I mean, if you maybe a Jamie player that couldn't communicate.
What if I do this?
Then you do that. You do that to Daigo. You walk up to Daigo and do that? Really? Bro, they might send your ass to jail, brother. Really. I do not hate Yan.
Hey, man. You've said some worse shit in your days to Daigo.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, but this is like the time when I was training with Daigo. And he knows that. Okay? I train with Daigo every fucking time we hang out. And I'm saying that. But that's part of the, you know, you gotta stand out. Yeah. It was never personal. And he knows that.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty sick. That's pretty
I don't hate Yan. I don't hate Yan at all. Like the Yan, if you can't even put Yan in this game. Because if you put Yan here, how does his dive kick work? Because you cannot, there's no crouch tech here. So dive kick will be too strong. So your dive kick is probably gonna be just like kind of like a Jamie dive kick, right? Like it's strong enough but not too oppressive. In a way.
Okay. All right.
So
Let's transition. Quick book of the week, and then I'm going to go and transition into Q&As, and then we can wrap up the stream. All right, pretty good episode so far. All right, my book of the week is Outsmarting Reality. Okay, this is from one of my favorite content creators, Neuro Knowledge. He basically talks about hermeticism, things like that, power of the conscious mind, and how to basically instill good habits in order to shift your reality, things like that. It's a pretty dope spiritual book. I'm enjoying it. Just got it in the mail a couple days ago, and I love his content. So if anybody's into anything like spiritual things like that, one of my favorite content creators, Neuro Knowledge, you can check him out. Tell him I sent you. All right, Q&A time. Let's go. All right, champ. You know what to do. I don't gotta tell you what to do. This is your favorite part of the stream.
Okay, let me see.
All right, so we'll pick any three. So first one I like is, how do you overcome a mental block against a specific player? Champ, what you got to say?
Yeah, so I don't think I ever, I mean, I had that early on in my fighting game career, and then you get this kind of like this feeling in your heart, like, man, I just don't know how to beat this motherfucker, like, ever. And then instead of thinking that way, I just basically start treating it as just an experience, just a matchup. Instead of a player matchup, I just gotta play the matchup of my character versus that character. So I removed the emotions. I just played it like how I would normally play this, as if I've never played this person ever in my life. It's just like, this person plays Ryu, I'm playing my character, and I'm gonna play it this way, and I'm just gonna do the optimal decisions to the best of my ability, after labbing the scenarios many times. So it doesn't matter really who's playing on the other end. For the most part, you're just gonna play your best, right? You're just gonna do the best decisions. So now, whoever's on the other side, if you're happen to lose, that means you just got outplayed in those situations. Instead of like, I can't beat this player because I'm like, just, I have a mental block on this guy, So instead, like, I have an issue in this matchup. Instead, I need to fix my matchup problem or my matchup specifics for this matchup, right? So now you have more actionable things to work on, instead of just like, blaming something else, right? It's not a mental block anymore. I just need to optimize my matchup specifics better, so I can have a slightly higher win rate than my current win rate.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
I agree 100%. I'm gonna add on to that. So Champ said something that is so crucial to you being able to succeed in doing so, in removing the so-called mental block, and it is stripping emotions from it, because the emotions are the glue to your past experiences against that person, right? So what usually triggers that is some sort of perceived importance that you're projecting onto this thing. Whether it is, I need to fucking beat this dude so I can know I can beat him, right? Or I need to beat him because this event, I need to, we're at this event, right? So you just keep compounding and putting a bunch of bullshit on top of you that gets in the way of you being relaxed, which is like a necessary component in order for you to hit your flow state. You cannot be in flow if you are not relaxed. And in order for you to be relaxed, you have to reach a certain level of conviction. If you don't have confidence in your ability to execute in whatever it is that you're trying to implement from your training, you will never be able to be relaxed, okay? So you have to have confidence in the way you've trained. And then the second thing I want to say is, look at it like a video game. I teach my students this a lot recently, is people that come to my stream, you hear about my analogy with Dark Souls. Treat the player like a Dark Souls boss. When you play a Dark Souls boss, what do? You figure out the patterns, you figure out what is predictable, and you strike it. You don't say, oh my god, this boss is fucking difficult, because then you're just not gonna fucking beat the boss, right? When you start to get over the self-imposed frustrations because you're just not seeing the boss for what they are, think of it like a robot. The player you're playing, regardless of who it is, it could be a punk, it could be Momochi, it could be Daigo, you just see the character and they are like a mini boss, right? And you figure out the way they play and interpret that character's tool set, and that's it. There's nothing else beyond that. It doesn't matter. And then you'll be able to play a lot more relaxed looking at it like that. Cool? What do you think, champ?
I think that's a great answer. Yeah.
Thank you.
Wait, is that something that you told yourself though before when you were complaining about Jamie? You should have told that yourself, that remove everything and blame yourself, because it's necessarily that. Did you treat Jamie's problems like a Dark Souls 2? Or you blame Capcom? You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that you followed that too, That's all. I mean, I love that you did that too. So
the more
great.
you talk, the more I think that somewhere in your lineage you are related to Reggie Phil's aim. Phil's aim. You know who that is?
No.
You know who the fuck that is. Stop lying to me. You know who Reggie is.
No.
Yeah, of course you don't know him. Yeah, that's what I would say if I was undercover too. Next question. All right, so
what okay, I'm gonna read.
Go ahead.
Okay, this one's pretty. I have answered this many times already in the stream, but okay, Champ, why do you or did you always wear sunglasses when you played? I adopted the idea of doing that from you because I had my theories as to why you did it. Okay, intimidation, block out distractions, yada yada. Less strain to your eyes all throughout the tournament. So with me, before, I like to wear glasses because I have very sensitive eyes in general. Even right now, I'm wearing some glasses for very screen, so I'm very sensitive to light. So I like to wear sunglasses because I get to concentrate more in that sense. I don't necessarily need to block out the distractions because it's super distracting already, and it was in an offline tournament environment. So no glass is gonna help you, or headset. Even if you wear a headset or or audio, you're still gonna feel like the stomps and the people yelling and stuff. So yeah, but I like to wear sunglasses because of my eyes, but at the same time, it also gives me this villain look anyways. So that I'm pertaining. So it's always, it's like a double down with that one,
Really?
Yeah, but I do have so many glasses. So I love glasses. I can play better, I feel like, if I'm wearing glasses in general. It doesn't have to be shades. It should just be like, something for the light.
That's crazy. I never would have assumed. I just thought you wore them because you're trying to hide the fact you're a fucking Nintendo bot.
Oh, yeah, SKG was good. What's up, Spooky? What's up, man? How are you, sir? Nintendo bot. I don't even know what he's talking about, guys. The person who has never owned a Nintendo in his life called me a Nintendo bot. Blaming Capcom for his actual shortcomings of his fucking gameplay.
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right.
So you see this next question? This question from Saba. I like this. I think this is a great answer to conclude on. What specific things lead you to describe a player as clutch, playing with heart, or consistent? What specific things lead you to describe a character as stable or unstable? I guess that's two different questions, but
yeah.
Okay. First question. I like the first question at least.
I think what specific things lead you to describe a player as clutch, playing with heart, or consistent? Well, I think at the highest level, every player has this already. It's just like how much they can control it in certain specific situations. Also, like these things where how much can you control your emotions to kind of like turn off how much you can control your game in general. So like say if you have full control of your game, you can kind of turn off the math part of the game and just exploit more because of all the decisions leading up into the clutch moment. Now you have a better your I guess the read that you're gonna make to make that comeback is more likely like influenced because of all the previous actions that your opponent did, right? And it might not be mathematically correct, but in your gut, in your feeling, it feels right. It's how you condition that opponent. So that would be a heart decision. Every pro player has that to a certain degree. Sure, some player might have that more than others, but that is something that not a requirement, but it's something that a pro player would have for sure already. Sure, it's just like the levels of it. Everything you just have levels. And but in order to win, you can't just only use your brain. You got to use your heart, and it has to be a combination of that. And then every player has their own aptitude. Every player would just have a certain balance on like how much heart or how much logic they're using in general all the time under standard flow, right? Then now do I gear up? And now when you say like you're gonna increase the intensity, do you use more math there or are you using more heart in those spots? Because if you're using more heart there, it's gonna be unstable. That's why comebacks are comebacks, right? You can't just always try to come back because it's really unstable. It's not a good way to win, right? So the more consistent way to win would be more math. But to come back or win in clutch moments, happens rare, then that's when you use your heart. So that's how I'm just gonna look at it. So maybe 70-30, 70 logic, 30% heart.
Mm.
And then second part would be like, what specific things lead you to describe? Oh yeah, I guess I answered that already. I guess like, let's say a player like Tokido, a type of character as stable. I guess a character that's stable is something that their general strategy is very easy to execute in a tournament format. First to two, first to three, like that. Where they could go for mostly a lot of non-committing, like normals or situations where they can induce actions without doing too much. Those are very stable characters, like in general. Like the characters that doesn't have to go for instance, like Dawson, Honda, Zangief, Jamie, for instance, like that. Let me see. Like more like they're mostly unstable because they have to do other things aside from the standard things. And then like you got like stable characters like Guile, Ken, Rashid, right? They can still get to their win condition with like they could play standard, and that standard they just need to do slight deviation to their strategy as to counter a certain tempo or strategy their opponent is doing. It's a slight deviation instead of like an overhaul new style you have to bust out. Like for instance, like yeah. So those like how easy the ease of the strategy that you're using at the highest level matters a lot. That's why my is considered top tier, because in tournament that strategy is so strong because it's so simple, right? Because it's so simple, it's hard to fuck that up. It's super easy. That's why Luke in season 1 was top tier, because the strategy is super simple, super strong, and he can slow down the pace of the game by just walk in, do 2 MP. Like, and then you have to wait a lot, and then he gets to jump, and so like those characters are stable.
Yeah, so like
you have full access to everything basically.
That stability is important too for like decision fatigue, because like in a tournament, endurance is such a real thing, and the more simple something could be, the less you have to think about it, less mental calories you're using up.
Oh, for sure.
So that makes a lot of sense. It's like either you have an extreme amount of reps to where you don't have to think about the complexities of your strategy, or your strategy is just so fucking simple because it's so strong that you don't really have to deviate from it. That's pretty cool. I never thought of that.
Or well refined in multiple layers that you have worked on already.
Right. And it's all muscle memory.
Yes. Yeah. At that point, you don't have to. You just execute what you worked on, right? So that's when hard work kind of kicks in a sense.
That's pretty dope. Okay. So I'll piggyback on the first part. So for everything that you said about the clutch player, I would like simplify it all to like a player that shows or demonstrates they have a lot of self-trust. Because like when you have to make decisions that are very difficult to make, or because the risk is just so fucking scary, right? Somebody that trusts themselves, I think, is a player that demonstrates a lot of heart. You know what I'm saying? And regardless of the situation, regardless of what the win calls for, they are able to follow through and commit to it. That shit is so powerful.
Yes.
And then I think like everybody's way of achieving self-trust is different, right? So ultimately, correct. Your trust or your confidence, right, is like an end result of having accumulated a lot of self-trust. How do you get your self-trust? So I know, simplified, it's one of two things, right? Or it's both of these things combined. It's you know what to do and you do it, and you know what not to do and you avoid doing those things. You know what I'm saying? So you know the bad decisions, you know the bad attitudes, the bad moods or train of thought, you avoid those things. And then you know the things that will contribute to making you a great player, a strong player, having good habits and attitude and all that shit, right? You stick to that, and then you start to trust yourself. You stick to doing the right training and studying and being open-minded and asking Nintendo bots for advice, and then you learn, oh shit, you know what? I can do this, and then that trust will show and demonstrate in your play. The way you play is the way you train, right? So if you notice that there are weird lapses in your play, there's probably a hole in your training.
So let me just piggyback on that one. So like in general, okay, let me ask you a question first. Like, so do you think you can? I mean, ultimately, what you're saying is like the player just needs more awareness, right? And you get the more aware they are of the repercussions of their choices or whatever it can lead to, the more they can figure out to avoid certain things. So the higher their awareness is or situational awareness is, the better decisions they will make, or along the way, and the more they can kind of like formulate their hard decisions later on.
Yep.
Right. So I think like But then I started thinking about that part when I was like thinking like, how do you? Okay, do you think being patient is something that you can like just teach?
Yes.
Being patient.
Yes, 100%. You know why?
But how do you teach them? How do you teach somebody to be patient?
You know what being patient is? Being patient is not the ability to wait a long time. It's the ability to do so with the right attitude. It's an attitude problem. It's not a mental problem. Patience is an attitude problem. The lack of patience is an attitude problem. That's all it is.
Okay, I have a different theory. I don't look at it like that. So I don't think you can teach patience. Because like, okay, when you say somebody, I want you to be patient and just, chill and just just kill this guy because he's trying to kill himself, right? You just kill this guy and just play reactive. If you say that, that person would not be able to execute that strategy that well. And then you answer why. You just gotta wait, what the fuck, right? And the answer there would be because you cannot really teach the patience part because you need to be more aware. So in order for the person to be able to execute the patient strategy to close out, the person's awareness needs to be in line with that. So how much aware they are in the options of their character or within the spacing or the risk management, whatever it could be, but how much awareness you have in general is like, it's kind of like the amount of gas you have to be patient. Because how can you be patient when you don't know what the fuck is coming, right? For instance, right? Your awareness is not there. For instance, you don't know at this spacing, this guy can drive a shear.
What's triggering that? What's triggering that? What's triggering that discomfort?
Yeah, because you are not. I mean, you're not comfortable in there because you have no knowledge.
Okay, but you've been in situations. You've been in situations where you don't have knowledge, and you still can maintain patience, or you can still maintain the right attitude. It's a perception thing. That's all it is. That's all it is when it comes to the lack of patience.
If I'm in a situation, like a pro player, for instance, right? You know this, brother. If you are in a situation that you don't know what to do, you're gonna use your overall game IQ, right? Like, okay, this looks like similar to this situation. It looks like this. So I'm going to treat it like this because it looks like this, right? Oh, I think he looks minus here because of how it looked. But we are not sure. So if you're not sure, then we're going to start assuming that things are the way, it seemed, right? But with that situation, now we can now be wrong. And we are not sure. So you're not confident there. Then you're going to make more mistakes. Then instead of dealing with the I'm not sure, I'm just gonna go in. So he's just gonna have to deal with me instead of me dealing with his nonsense that I don't know of. So that removes the patience part. But if you are super aware of most options that are more common ones, then you can be more patient because you are equipped to be patient because you would know what to look for.
But the motivation there, in my opinion, is not a lack of patience when the person goes in. It's because they're weighing options and saying, well, out of ignorance, I'm not sure. So I'm going to operate within something that I am certain of, or at least, have a probability of operating off of something more familiar.
It's like,
you know what I'm saying?
I'd rather be in a situation that's like, you don't want the confrontation, right? You're avoiding confrontation because you're not sure.
Is like, I know that you're going to give me $5 tomorrow or $1 right now, but I can get $5 tomorrow. But damn it, I don't want to wait. That's impatience, right? It's like, you are certain of something, and then you are like, but I'd rather this short-term gratification. That's impatience. But it sounds like what you're talking about is more so like a discomfort in unknowns. You know what I'm saying? That's what it sounds more like than it being impatience.
That triggers the player to be more. Let me become more proactive if they are not sure of the situation. I'm talking in general, a player in general. And don't talk about pro player. Pro player we're able to manage,
but that's teachable. Like you said, it's an ignorance thing. So you just give them the thing that they're not aware of, and then what happens? They'll be more patient.
And they're going to be patient because of that, right? Because it's because of just lack of awareness. That's what I was saying.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like, is patience is a teachable thing because it's a perception thing. If you teach somebody, right, the right perception up towards something, then they'll be more likely to have the right attitude towards waiting for it.
It's just a muscle. We're both saying this sort of similar things. It's just that I'm just probably describing it a lot more. Like, I would say that I'm basically basing this off of mental stack management in general. Like a player would not be able to exercise the strategy of being patient or being reactive style if he doesn't know what are the options or the implications of the choices that he's about to make at certain spacing or certain situations, meter this, meter that. He doesn't know. So, or he doesn't fully know the branches of choices that would happen if he were to pick a choice. So instead of waiting on something that you have no idea what the fucking happened or what's the optimal choices here, I would just go for a more proactive decision by now trying to be slightly more aggressive. So I can avoid this area that I'm a little bit more uncomfortable since I have lack of knowledge in this spot. So that will trigger me to not be patient. But if I am so calm and collective at this spot, it's because, brother, whatever you fucking throw at me, baby. If I manage it correctly, I can check everything. Yes. Right. Yeah. For instance, if somebody if you throw that light high, or you do a high shot light fireball, whatever, as a meaty, they block that. There's no jump in the fucking world is gonna get through after that. After you throw the second fireball, if you throw that first high shot meaty, right under wake up, there's nothing, right? But you're expecting that option now. If they jump, you do this. If they dash, you're ready. You're gonna do 2 MP and then cancel, right?
Yeah,
so
like
you're so much more calm.
It sounds like we're saying
but that's what I'm saying. That patience is a product of awareness. That's all I'm saying. And I didn't say that I was disagreeing with what you're saying because you have a different method of what you're saying, right? And then and you say you can teach it. Yeah. Same thing. I can just teach awareness, the 2 things to be aware about, you know? Yeah, and that's what you're saying. You can teach that. It's like a state of mind instead with the way you're wording
but
it. But you know,
no, I'm saying it the same way you're saying it. You're just a Nintendo bot, and you just like to disagree with me. But what I'm saying,
I'm not disagreeing with you. I agree with you. I'm explaining my side.
My pillar in life. That's literally, I read about where awareness is my fucking pillar. I every fucking situation I find myself in, I need to be aware. That's what gives me the space to respond instead of react, right? Because if you can't, if you don't have awareness, you go off of muscle memory, emotions, things that, you know, like the whatever negative fucking reactions that can occur. Right. You're gonna fight or flight, whatever the fuck you want to call it, all that shit is gonna come rampant, right? But when you have that space, that awareness to understand, right, that there is a better answer, that is the response choice, right? So that's what I mean by it is teachable. It's just that you have to give them the tools. And what you're saying is you got to give them the things that make them feel a sense of awareness. The same shit.
I mean, yeah, same thing. Yeah, basically just worded differently.
You fucking Nintendo bot. Can't
stand you. When you were blaming the balance of the game, right, for your lack of performance with Jamie, how come, you know, you weren't saying these things to you? How come you're just saying it to other cats? How come you're not saying it to yourself, brother? How come you're not blaming? Guys, look, you know, I love Zaf, guys. I have to kind of push it, okay? So he kind of snaps out of this bullshit, never-ending 50-50 of like, stupid game, yada, yada, yada. I lost because stupid game. You know what I mean? He needs to snap out of that.